Story 1. The Enchanted Forest of Dreams. In a faraway land, where the sun kissed the earth with warmth and the moon bathed everything in a gentle silver glow, there existed a magical forest. This forest was unlike any other. It was called the Enchanted Forest of Dreams, and it was said that those who entered it would find their deepest wishes whispered to them by the trees, the flowers, and even the wind. The forest was vast, with trees so tall that their tops disappeared into the clouds. Their leaves shimmered with hues of emerald, gold, and sapphire, reflecting the light of the sun during the day and the moon at night. The ground was soft, covered in a carpet of moss that felt like the finest velvet underfoot. Flowers of every color imaginable bloomed year-round, their petals glowing faintly in the dark, like tiny lanterns guiding travelers through the woods. In the heart of this forest, there lived a wise old owl named Oliver. Oliver had been the guardian of the enchanted forest for as long as anyone could remember. His feathers were a rich, deep brown, and his eyes were as golden as the sun, full of knowledge and kindness. He spent his days perched high in the oldest tree in the forest, watching over all who entered, and his nights flying silently through the woods, ensuring that everything was as it should be. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a deep shade of purple, a young girl named Lily wandered into the forest. Lily was a kind and gentle soul, with a heart full of dreams. She had heard stories about the enchanted forest from her grandmother, who told her that it was a place where dreams came to life. And so, one night, with her heart full of hope and her mind full of wonder, Lily decided to find the forest and discover if the stories were true. As Lily walked deeper into the woods, she noticed how peaceful it was. The only sounds were the soft rustling of the leaves, the gentle hum of the night insects, and the distant hoot of an owl. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Lily felt her worries begin to melt away with each step she took, replaced by a sense of calm and serenity. After what felt like hours, Lily reached a clearing in the forest. In the center of the clearing stood the oldest tree in the forest, its trunk wide and its branches stretching out like arms welcoming her. Perched on one of the branches was Oliver, his golden eyes gleaming in the moonlight. "Welcome, dear child," Oliver hooted softly. "I have been expecting you." Lily looked up at the wise old owl, her eyes wide with wonder. "You have? But how?" Oliver chuckled, a deep, comforting sound. "This forest knows all who enter it. It whispers your hopes and dreams to me, and I am here to help guide you." Lily's heart swelled with hope. "Can you help me find my dreams, Oliver?" The owl nodded slowly. "Yes, but first, you must understand that dreams are not always what we think they are. Sometimes they take us on unexpected journeys, and sometimes they show us what we truly need, rather than what we want." Lily listened intently, her mind swirling with thoughts. "But how do I find my true dream?" Oliver spread his wings and flew down to the ground, landing gently in front of Lily. "Close your eyes, child. Listen to the whispers of the forest. It will guide you." Lily did as she was told. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath, letting the sounds of the forest wash over her. At first, all she could hear was the rustling of the leaves and the distant call of an owl. But slowly, as she focused, she began to hear something else, a soft, melodic whisper that seemed to be coming from all around her. The whispers grew louder, forming words that wrapped around her like a warm blanket. "Follow your heart, Lily. Your dream lies within you. Trust in yourself and you will find the way." Lily opened her eyes, her heart racing with excitement. "I think I understand now, Oliver. My dream isn't something I need to find out here. It's something I need to discover within myself." Oliver smiled, a proud twinkle in his golden eyes. "Exactly, my dear. The forest has shown you the truth. Your dream is a reflection of who you are and what you truly desire." Lily felt a warmth spread through her chest, a feeling of contentment and peace. She knew now that her dream wasn't something she needed to search for. It was something she needed to embrace and nurture within herself. As the night wore on, Lily sat with Oliver, talking about her hopes, fears, and everything in between. The wise old owl listened patiently, offering advice and comfort when needed. And as the first light of dawn began to filter through the trees, Lily knew it was time to leave. "Thank you, Oliver," Lily said, standing up and brushing off her dress. "You've helped me more than I can say." Oliver nodded, his eyes soft with kindness. "Remember, Lily, the forest will always be here for you, just as your dreams will always be within you. Trust in yourself and you will find your way." With a final nod of thanks, Lily turned and began her journey back home. The forest seemed to glow with a gentle light, as if bidding her farewell. As she walked, she felt a newfound sense of confidence and purpose. She knew that no matter where life took her, she would always have the enchanted forest of dreams to guide her. And so, with the warmth of the sun on her face and the whispers of the forest in her heart, Lily stepped out of the woods, ready to embrace whatever dreams awaited her. As she returned to her village, the memory of the enchanted forest stayed with her, a comforting presence that she carried with her always. She knew that no matter how far she traveled or how difficult the journey, she would never be alone. The forest, with its ancient trees and wise old owl, would always be a part of her, a reminder that her dreams were always within reach. And so, each night, as Lily lay down to sleep, she would close her eyes and imagine herself walking through the enchanted forest once more. She would hear the soft whispers of the trees, feel the cool breeze on her face, and see the warm glow of the flowers lighting her way. And with a heart full of peace and a mind full of dreams, she would drift off into a deep, restful sleep, knowing that the enchanted forest would always be there to guide her. Story 2. The Journey of the Midnight Star. Long ago, in a world where the night sky was more vibrant and alive than we know it today, there existed a single star that outshone all others. This star was known as the Midnight Star, and it was said to have the power to grant wishes to those pure of heart who gazed upon it with hope. The Midnight Star was no ordinary star. It hung low in the sky, so close to the earth that its soft, silvery light bathed the world in a peaceful glow every night. The star was not fixed in one place like the others. It wandered across the heavens, seeking out those who needed its light the most. At the edge of a quiet village nestled in a valley, there lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was a dreamer, always looking up at the stars and imagining adventures in far-off lands. He lived with his grandmother, who told him stories of the Midnight Star and its wondrous powers. Finn often wondered if the stories were true, and he longed to see the Midnight Star for himself. One clear, crisp night, as Finn lay on a hill near his home, staring up at the sky, he noticed a star brighter than any he had ever seen. His heart skipped a beat as he realized that this must be the Midnight Star, the star his grandmother had spoken of so many times. It seemed to be moving slowly across the sky, its light so pure and serene that Finn felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over him. Without hesitation, Finn made a wish. It was not a wish for wealth or fame, but a simple wish from the depths of his heart. He wished for an adventure that would take him beyond the borders of his village, to see the world and discover its secrets. As soon as he made his wish, the Midnight Star paused in its journey across the sky. It hovered directly above Finn, its light growing brighter and warmer, until it enveloped him completely. Finn felt himself being lifted off the ground, gently carried upward by the star's light. When he opened his eyes, Finn found himself standing on a cloud, high above the earth. The midnight star floated beside him, twinkling softly. It spoke to him in a voice as soothing as a lullaby. "Dear Finn," the star said, "you have wished for an adventure, and I shall guide you on a journey through the night. But remember, true adventure lies not just in seeing new places, but in discovering the wisdom and beauty within them." Finn nodded, his heart racing with excitement and wonder. "Where will we go?" The midnight star shimmered, its light forming a path through the sky. "Follow me, and you shall see." And so, Finn began his journey across the heavens, guided by the midnight star. They traveled to lands that no human had ever seen before, where the night was more than just darkness. It was a realm of magic and mystery. First, they visited the Twilight Woods, a forest where the trees were as tall as mountains, and their leaves glowed in shades of purple and blue. The forest was home to creatures of the night, gentle beings with soft fur and luminous eyes, who welcomed Finn warmly. They taught him the language of the stars, a secret tongue that only those who truly loved the night could understand. Next, the midnight star led Finn to the moonlit lake, a vast body of water, so still and clear that it reflected the sky perfectly. The lake was surrounded by silver mountains that sparkled in the moonlight. As Finn stood on the shore, the waters began to ripple, and from the depths emerged the Lady of the Lake. She was a beautiful, ethereal being with hair like flowing water and eyes that shone with wisdom. "Finn," she said in a voice that was as gentle as a breeze, "you have come far on your journey. The night holds many secrets, and the greatest of them is the power of dreams. Always cherish your dreams, for they are the stars that guide you through life." Finn thanked the Lady of the Lake, feeling a deep sense of gratitude for her words. As they continued their journey, the midnight star brought Finn to the nightingale's garden, where flowers bloomed only in the dark, and their fragrance was sweet enough to bring tears to the eyes. The nightingales, with their melodious songs, sang of love, hope, and the beauty of the night. Finn was enchanted by everything he saw and heard, but as the night wore on, he began to feel a longing in his heart. He realized that while he had seen wondrous places and met wise beings, he missed his grandmother and the quiet peace of his village. The midnight star sensed Finn's feelings and gently brought him back to the cloud where their journey had begun. The star's light dimmed slightly, wrapping Finn in a comforting embrace. "You have seen much, Finn," the star said softly, "but the greatest journey is always the one that leads you home." Finn nodded, understanding that while the adventure had been incredible, his heart belonged with his grandmother and the village he loved. The midnight star began to lower him back to the earth, its light guiding him safely down. When Finn opened his eyes, he found himself lying on the hill once more, the village quiet and still in the early morning light. The midnight star was just a faint glimmer on the horizon, beginning its journey across the sky once more. As Finn stood up and made his way back home, he felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. He knew that he would never forget the magical places he had seen or the lessons he had learned. But most of all, he understood that the true beauty of life lay in the balance between adventure and the comfort of home. From that night on, whenever Finn looked up at the night sky, he felt a special connection to the midnight star. He knew that it was still out there, wandering the heavens, guiding others on their journeys, just as it had guided him. And as he grew older, Finn would often tell stories of his adventure to the children of the village, just as his grandmother had told him stories of the midnight star. And with each telling, the magic of that star continued to live on, in the hearts and dreams of those who believed in the wonders of the night. The end. Story 3. The Whispering Willow. In a tranquil valley surrounded by rolling hills, there stood a small village called Willowbrook. The village was named after a grand old willow tree that had grown there for centuries, its long, graceful branches reaching out like arms to embrace the land. This tree was no ordinary willow. It was known as the Whispering Willow, and it was said that the tree could speak to those who listened closely enough. The villagers loved the Whispering Willow and often gathered beneath its shade to enjoy the cool breeze and listen to its soft rustling leaves. But the tree only whispered its secrets to those with open hearts and gentle souls. For many, the whispers were just the sound of the wind through the leaves, but to a few, they were words of wisdom, comfort, and guidance. In the village lived a young girl named Alara. Alara was curious and kind-hearted, always helping others and finding joy in the simplest things. She loved the Whispering Willow more than anything, often spending her afternoons sitting under its branches, reading or simply daydreaming. Her grandmother had told her stories about the tree's magic, and Alara believed them with all her heart. One summer evening, as the sun dipped low in the sky and painted the valley in shades of orange and pink, Alara felt a strange pull to visit the Whispering Willow. She had been feeling restless lately, unsure of her path in life. She knew that the tree had been a source of comfort for many before her, and she hoped it might have some wisdom to offer her as well. As Alara approached the tree, she noticed how its leaves shimmered in the fading light, almost as if the tree was glowing from within. She sat down at the base of the trunk, closed her eyes, and listened intently. At first, all she could hear was the gentle rustling of the leaves, but as she focused, the sounds began to form into soft, melodic whispers. Alara, the tree whispered, its voice as gentle as a lullaby. You are at a crossroads, I see. You seek your purpose, your place in this world. But remember, the answers you seek are already within you. You must trust your heart and follow where it leads. Alara opened her eyes in surprise. But how do I know which path to choose? How do I know what my heart truly wants? The Whispering Willow's leaves fluttered softly, as if in laughter. Your heart speaks to you every day, Alara. It is in the things that bring you joy, in the kindness you show others, and in the dreams you hold dear. Your path is not something to be found. It is something to be made. Alara thought about this for a moment. She had always loved helping others, making them smile, and bringing a little bit of light into their lives. Perhaps that was where her heart was leading her. But what if I make the wrong choice? She asked, her voice tinged with uncertainty. There are no wrong choices, the tree whispered reassuringly. Every path you take will teach you something, and every step will bring you closer to understanding yourself. Trust in your journey, and know that you are never alone. Alara felt a wave of calm wash over her. The Whispering Willow was right. She didn't need to have all the answers right now. All she needed to do was follow her heart and trust that she would find her way, no matter where the path might lead. The sun had nearly set by now, and the valley was bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The air was cool and filled with the scent of blooming flowers. Alara sat quietly beneath the tree, feeling at peace with herself for the first time in weeks. As she sat there, a small bird fluttered down from the branches of the willow and perched on her shoulder. It was a nightingale, with feathers as dark as the night and a song as sweet as honey. The bird began to sing, a soft and soothing melody that filled Alara's heart with warmth and joy. The Whispering Willow's branches swayed gently in the breeze, as if dancing to the nightingale's song. Alara closed her eyes again, letting the music and the whispers of the tree fill her soul. She felt a deep connection to the world around her, as if she were a part of something much greater than herself. Time seemed to stand still as Alara sat there, enveloped in the magic of the moment. She didn't know how long she stayed under the tree, But when she finally opened her eyes, the sky was dark, and the first stars had begun to twinkle above. The nightingale had flown off, leaving behind a sense of serenity in the air. Alara stood up, feeling lighter than she had in a long time. She knew now that she didn't need to have everything figured out right away. Life was a journey, and she was just beginning to discover her own path. As she walked back to her village, Alara felt the cool grass beneath her feet and the gentle breeze on her face. She knew that whatever the future held, she would be ready to face it with an open heart and a confident spirit. From that night on, Alara continued to visit the Whispering Willow whenever she needed guidance or comfort. And each time, the tree would whisper its gentle wisdom to her, reminding her to trust in herself and to follow the path that brought her the most joy. As the years passed, Alara grew into a wise and compassionate young woman. She became known throughout the village as someone who could always be counted on for help, advice, and a kind word. She had found her purpose in bringing light and happiness to others, just as the Whispering Willow had shown her. And so, the magic of the Whispering Willow continued to live on, in the whispers of the leaves, the songs of the nightingales, and the hearts of those who believed in the gentle wisdom of the world around them. The end. Story 4. The Moonlit River. In a land where the nights were always clear and the moon shone as bright as day, there flowed a river known as the Moonlit River. This river was special, for it glowed with a silver light that mirrored the moon above. The water was so pure and clear that it sparkled like 1,000 diamonds, and it was said that the river had the power to reveal the deepest desires of the heart. The moonlit river wound its way through forests, meadows, and villages, bringing life and beauty wherever it flowed. But the most magical part of the river was a hidden glade deep in the heart of an ancient forest. Here, the river widened into a small, tranquil pool, surrounded by towering trees whose leaves shimmered with silver in the moonlight. It was a place of peace and serenity, where the worries of the world seemed to melt away. Not far from the river lived a young woman named Arya. Arya was known throughout her village for her kindness and her gentle spirit. She loved the simple beauty of the world around her, the songs of the birds, the rustling of the leaves in the wind, and the way the moonlight danced on the surface of the moonlit river. But despite the beauty around her, Arya often felt a sense of longing in her heart. She had dreams of traveling beyond the borders of her village, of exploring new places and meeting new people. Yet, she was also deeply connected to her home and the people she loved. She didn't want to leave them behind, but she couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more waiting for her beyond the horizon. One night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Arya decided to take a walk along the moonlit river. She followed the winding path through the forest until she reached the hidden glade. The sight of the river glowing softly in the moonlight filled her with a sense of peace, and she sat down on the bank, letting the cool night air wash over her. As she gazed into the shimmering water, Arya noticed something strange. The reflection of the moon on the surface of the river seemed to be moving, almost as if it were alive. She leaned closer, mesmerized by the sight, and suddenly, the water began to ripple and shift. To her amazement, the image of the moon transformed into a beautiful figure, a woman with flowing silver hair and eyes that sparkled like stars. The woman in the water smiled at Arya, her voice soft and melodic. "Do not be afraid, dear one. I am the spirit of the moonlit river, and I have heard the longing in your heart." Arya gasped, unable to believe what she was seeing. You can hear my thoughts?" The spirit nodded gently. "I can feel the desires of all who come to this place. Your heart is torn between the love you have for your home and the yearning for something more. You seek answers, and I am here to help you find them." Arya felt tears welling up in her eyes. I don't know what to do. I love my village, but I also feel that there's so much more out there for me to discover. How can I choose between the two?" The spirit's expression was kind and understanding. Life is a journey, and every step you take is a part of that journey. You do not have to choose between your love for home and your desire to explore. Both can coexist, for they are both a part of who you are. Arya listened intently, her heart swelling with hope. But how? How can I follow my dreams without leaving everything I love behind? The spirit of the moonlit river leaned closer, her voice like a whisper carried on the breeze. "Your heart is like this river, Arya. It flows through many places, touching everything it passes, but it is always connected to its source. No matter where you go, you will always carry your home within you. The love you have for your village and your family will guide you, and you can always return when the time is right." Arya thought about the spirit's words, feeling a sense of clarity she hadn't felt before. She realized that her longing to explore the world didn't mean she had to abandon her home. She could go on her journey, knowing that the love she had for her village would always be with her, no matter where she went. The spirit smiled, her eyes twinkling like stars. "The world is full of wonders, Arya. Follow your heart, and you will find the path that is meant for you. And remember, the moonlit river will always be here, a place of peace and reflection whenever you need it." With that, the spirit slowly faded back into the shimmering water, and the river returned to its peaceful, glowing state. Arya sat by the water's edge for a long time, her heart full of gratitude and a newfound sense of purpose. As the first light of dawn began to touch the sky, Arya stood up and made her way back to the village. She knew now that she didn't have to choose between her dreams and her home. She could embrace both, letting them guide her on the journey of her life. In the days that followed, Arya began to prepare for her adventure. She told her family and friends about her plans, and though they were sad to see her go, they understood her need to follow her heart. They assured her that she would always have a place to return to, no matter where her journey took her. And so, with the blessing of her village and the wisdom of the spirit of the moonlit river, Arya set out on her journey. She traveled far and wide, exploring new lands, meeting new people, and discovering the beauty of the world beyond her village. But no matter how far she traveled, she always carried the love of her home with her, a constant source of strength and comfort. Whenever she felt lost or uncertain, Arya would find a quiet place by a river or a stream and remember the gentle words of the spirit. She knew that she was never truly alone, for the moonlit river was always with her, a reminder of the connection between her heart and her home. And when the time was right, Arya returned to her village, her heart full of the experiences and memories she had gathered on her journey. She shared her stories with the people she loved, inspiring others to follow their own dreams, knowing that they, too, could find their way back home. The moonlit river continued to flow, its silver light a beacon of hope and guidance for all who came to its shores. And in the hidden glade, where the river widened into a tranquil pool, the spirit of the moonlit river watched over the world, ready to offer her wisdom to those who needed it. The end. Story 5. The Dreamweaver's Tapestry. In a distant land where the nights were as dark as velvet and the stars glittered like diamonds, there was a village called Lenara. The people of Lenara were known for their beautiful tapestries, woven with threads that shimmered in the moonlight. These tapestries were not just works of art. They were imbued with magic, telling stories of the past, present, and future. At the heart of Lenara, in a small cottage by the edge of the woods, lived an elderly woman named Maris. Maris was the village's most skilled weaver, known as the Dreamweaver. She was said to have the ability to weave the dreams of others into her tapestries, creating masterpieces that could bring comfort, guidance, and inspiration to those who gazed upon them. Maris had been weaving for many years, and her tapestries were treasured by the villagers and travelers alike. People from all over the land would come to Lenara, seeking out Maris's wisdom and the magic of her tapestries. But as the years went by, Maris began to feel the weight of her age. Her hands, once so nimble, had begun to tremble, and her eyes, once so sharp, had started to grow dim. She knew that the time was coming for her to pass on her knowledge to someone younger, someone who could continue the tradition of the Dreamweaver. One clear, starry night, as Maris sat by the fire in her cottage, she felt a presence in the room. She looked up to see a young girl standing in the doorway, her eyes wide with wonder and curiosity. The girl's name was Eleanor, and she had always been fascinated by the Dreamweaver's work. She had grown up in Lenara, watching Maris create her magical tapestries, and she had longed to learn the secrets of the craft. "Good evening, Dreamweaver," Eleanor said softly, her voice filled with respect. "I've come to ask if you would teach me the art of weaving dreams." Maris smiled, her heart warming at the sight of the eager young girl. She had known that this day would come, and she was glad that it was Eleanor who had come to her. "Come closer, child," Maris said gently. "You have the heart of a weaver, and I can see that the dreams of others call to you. But weaving dreams is not just about skill with thread and loom. It requires a deep understanding of the soul and the ability to listen to the whispers of the night." Eleanor nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "I'm ready to learn, Dreamweaver. I want to help others by weaving their dreams into something beautiful." Maris beckoned Eleanor to sit beside her, and together they began the first lesson. Maris taught Eleanor how to choose the right threads, how to work the loom, and how to listen to the dreams that floated on the night air. As they worked, Maris told Eleanor stories of the many people who had come to her seeking guidance, and how she had woven their hopes, fears, and desires into tapestries that brought them peace. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, as Eleanor learned the ancient art of the Dreamweaver. She spent her days practicing, her nights dreaming of the stories she would one day weave. Under Maris's careful guidance, Eleanor's skill grew, and soon she was able to weave her own tapestries, simple at first, but filled with the same magic that had made Maris's work so beloved. One night, as the full moon hung low in the sky, Maris called Eleanor to her side. "It is time, Eleanor," she said, her voice tinged with both sadness and pride. "I have taught you all I can, and now the role of Dreamweaver must pass to you. My hands have grown too old to continue, but I know that you will carry on the tradition with the same love and care that I have." Eleanor's heart ached at the thought of Maris stepping down, but she knew that the time had come. "I will do my best, Dreamweaver," she promised, her voice steady. "I will honor your teachings and continue to weave dreams for the people of Lenara." With a nod of approval, Maris led Eleanor to the loom, where a new tapestry was waiting to be woven. "This will be your first true work as the Dreamweaver," Maris said softly. "Listen carefully, and let the dreams guide your hands." Eleanor took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and let the world around her fade away. She focused on the soft hum of the night, the gentle rustling of the leaves outside, and the faint whispers of dreams that drifted through the air. Slowly, she began to weave, her hands moving with a confidence that surprised even her. As the night wore on, the tapestry began to take shape. Eleanor wove images of a young boy on a journey, searching for a lost treasure, a woman standing at a crossroads, unsure of which path to take, a family reunited after years of separation. Each thread told a story, and each story was filled with the dreams of those who had come to the Dreamweaver for guidance. When the tapestry was finally complete, Eleanor stepped back and gazed at her work. The images glowed softly in the moonlight, and the stories seemed to come to life before her eyes. She felt a deep sense of pride and fulfillment, knowing that she had truly become the Dreamweaver. Maris, who had watched in silence as Eleanor worked, placed a hand on the young girl's shoulder. "You have done well, Eleanor," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "The people of Lenara will be in good hands with you as their Dreamweaver." And so, with Maris's blessing, Eleanor took on the mantle of the Dreamweaver. She continued to weave tapestries that brought comfort and guidance to the people of Lenara, just as Maris had done before her. The magic of the Dreamweaver lived on in Eleanor's hands, and the village thrived under her care. As for Maris, she spent her remaining days in peace, knowing that she had passed on her knowledge to a worthy successor. She often visited Eleanor in her cottage, offering advice and encouragement, but she knew that the future of the Dreamweaver's craft was in good hands. The people of Lenara continued to come to the Dreamweaver, seeking the magic of her tapestries and the wisdom of her heart. And as the years passed, Eleanor's skill grew, her work becoming even more intricate and powerful than before. She wove the dreams of the people into stories that would be told for generations, and her tapestries became a symbol of hope and inspiration for all who saw them. And so, the legend of the Dreamweaver continued, passed down from one generation to the next, a testament to the power of dreams and the magic of the night. The end. Story 6. The Enchanted Lantern. In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a dense, ancient forest, there lived a humble lantern maker named Thomas. Thomas was known for crafting the most beautiful lanterns in the land, each one unique and glowing with a warm, inviting light. The villagers loved his lanterns, for they not only illuminated their homes, but also brought a sense of magic and wonder to the darkest nights. One day, while exploring the forest for materials, Thomas stumbled upon an old, abandoned cottage covered in vines. Intrigued, he decided to explore. Inside, he found a dusty, cobweb-covered lantern sitting on a worn wooden table. It was unlike any lantern he had ever seen. Its frame was intricately carved with patterns of stars and moons, and its glass was a deep, shimmering blue. Thomas decided to take the lantern back to his workshop. He carefully cleaned it, replacing the wick and filling it with oil. As he worked, he felt a strange energy emanating from the lantern, as if it were alive. That evening, as Thomas lit the lantern for the first time, a soft, ethereal glow filled his workshop. The light was not just bright but seemed to dance and shift, casting beautiful patterns on the walls. Thomas was enchanted by the lantern's light, and he decided to keep it for himself, placing it in a special corner of his workshop. The next night, as Thomas was closing up for the evening, he noticed something unusual. The lantern's light began to pulse and flicker, and then, to his amazement, a tiny figure emerged from the glow, a delicate, shimmering fairy. The fairy had wings like gossamer and a smile that sparkled like stardust. "Greetings, kind lantern maker," the fairy said in a voice as soft as a breeze. "I am Leora, the guardian of the enchanted lantern. Thank you for restoring my home." Thomas was astonished, but quickly gathered his composure. "I'm glad you're pleased. I found the lantern in an old cottage and was drawn to its beauty. I didn't expect to find a guardian." Leora fluttered her wings and hovered in the air. "This lantern has been waiting for someone with a pure heart to bring it back to life. It holds ancient magic, and I am here to guide you in using it." Thomas listened intently as Leora explained that the lantern was enchanted with the power to grant a single wish to anyone who lit it with a heart full of hope and kindness. But there was a catch. The wish had to be made selflessly, for the benefit of others, not for personal gain. "I am honored by this," Thomas said, "but I'm not sure what to wish for. My life is simple and content." Leora smiled warmly. The magic of the lantern is not just about granting wishes. It is about understanding the true needs of others and finding joy in helping them. With Leora's guidance, Thomas began to use the lantern's magic in small ways, bringing light and warmth to those in need. He would light the lantern each night and let its glow fill the village with a gentle, comforting light. He visited sick villagers, delivered supplies to those in need, and provided warmth to the elderly. His acts of kindness were small but had a profound impact on everyone he touched. One day, as winter approached and the village faced a harsh, bitter cold, Thomas knew that the villagers needed more than just a warm light. They needed a way to keep their homes warm and their spirits high. He decided to use the lantern's magic to help. That night, Thomas lit the lantern with a heart full of hope for his village. He closed his eyes and made his wish, a wish for the village to be protected from the harsh winter and to find comfort and warmth despite the cold. As the lantern's light grew brighter, a soft, shimmering snow began to fall gently from the sky. But this was no ordinary snow. It was warm and comforting, like a gentle embrace. The snow settled over the village, creating a magical, protective blanket that kept the cold at bay and provided warmth to everyone within its embrace. The villagers awoke to find their homes and streets covered in a warm, glowing snow. They were amazed and deeply grateful, not only for the physical warmth but for the sense of magic and wonder that had been brought to their lives. Thomas continued to use the lantern's magic to help the village, always making selfless wishes for the betterment of others. The village thrived under the lantern's glow, and Thomas became a beloved figure, known for his kindness and generosity. Years later, as Thomas grew older, he knew that it was time for him to pass on the lantern to someone new. He chose a young girl named Emma, who had shown a deep sense of empathy and compassion for others. He entrusted her with the enchanted lantern, along with Leora's guidance, and taught her the true meaning of using its magic. Emma embraced her new role with the same love and care that Thomas had shown. She continued to use the lantern's magic to bring joy and comfort to those around her, and the village of Lenara remained a place of warmth and wonder, illuminated by the light of the enchanted lantern. The legacy of the lantern lived on through each new guardian, a testament to the power of selfless wishes and the magic of kindness. And in the heart of the village, where the lantern's glow still danced and shimmered, the spirit of the enchanted lantern continued to watch over the people, guiding them with its gentle light. The end. Story 7. The Starlit Orchard. In a serene valley surrounded by misty mountains, there was a magical orchard known as the Starlit Orchard. This orchard was famous for its extraordinary fruit, glowing apples that shimmered like stars and emitted a soft, golden light. The fruit from the Starlit Orchard was said to have special properties. It could heal wounds, bring peace to troubled minds, and even grant a single wish to those who ate it with a pure heart. The guardian of this orchard was a kind old man named Cedric. Cedric had tended to the orchard for many years, nurturing the trees with love and care. He was known throughout the land as the keeper of the stars, and people from far and wide came to seek the orchard's magical fruit for various needs. One day, as Cedric was tending to the trees, he noticed that the apples were not as bright as they used to be. The light that had once illuminated the orchard like a constellation now seemed dim and faded. Cedric's heart was heavy with worry, for he knew that the orchard's magic was weakening. That night, as he sat beneath the oldest apple tree in the orchard, Cedric pondered what could be causing the decline. He felt a gentle breeze and heard a soft whispering voice. Looking around, he saw a small, glowing figure approaching, an ethereal fairy with wings that sparkled like the night sky. "Greetings, Keeper of the Stars," the fairy said with a melodic voice. "I am Astra, the guardian of the night sky. I have come to help you with the troubles of your orchard." Cedric greeted Astra with a nod of respect. "Thank you for coming. The apples no longer shine as they once did. I fear that the magic of the orchard is fading." Astra fluttered her wings thoughtfully. "The light of the apples is connected to the balance of the natural world. When harmony is disturbed, the magic can weaken. There is an imbalance in the valley that needs to be addressed." Cedric listened intently as Astra explained that a recent drought had caused the river that flowed through the valley to dry up. Without the river, the land was becoming parched, and the trees in the orchard were struggling to thrive. The drought had also affected the surrounding forest and the creatures that lived there. "To restore the balance and rejuvenate the orchard," Astra said, "Cedric would need to find a way to bring water back to the valley. The task would be challenging, but with determination and the help of the magical creatures of the land, it could be done." Cedric set out early the next morning, guided by Astra. They traveled through the valley, reaching the dry riverbed where once a sparkling stream had flowed. Cedric saw how the land had become cracked and barren, and he knew that he had to act quickly. Astra summoned the help of forest creatures, a wise old owl, a nimble squirrel, and a gentle deer. Together, they worked to uncover the source of the river, which had been blocked by a landslide of rocks and debris. As they cleared the blockage, Cedric noticed a small, hidden spring beginning to flow once again. The water trickled slowly at first, but with the combined efforts of Cedric and his newfound friends, the stream began to swell and flow more freely. The forest and the valley started to come back to life as the water returned. The trees began to green up, and the land was refreshed. The magical apples in the orchard slowly regained their glow, their light becoming brighter and more vibrant as the orchard's magic was restored. With the river flowing once more, Cedric and Astra returned to the orchard. The apples shimmered like stars, their light bathing the orchard in a warm, golden glow. The orchard was alive with the magic of the night sky, and the fruit was once again imbued with its healing properties. Cedric thanked Astra and the forest creatures for their help. "I could not have done this without you," he said gratefully. Astra smiled, her wings sparkling. "The balance of nature is a shared responsibility. When we work together, we can overcome any challenge and restore harmony." As a token of his gratitude, Cedric picked one of the brightest apples from the orchard and offered it to Astra. "Please accept this gift as a symbol of our appreciation." Astra accepted the apple with a nod. "Thank you, Cedric. This will serve as a reminder of the strength and unity of our efforts." With the river restored and the orchard flourishing once again, Cedric continued his role as the keeper of the stars, tending to the trees and sharing the magical fruit with those in need. The valley thrived, and the starlit orchard remained a beacon of hope and magic. The story of Cedric, Astra, and the starlit orchard spread far and wide, inspiring others to recognize the importance of balance and harmony in their own lives. And as the stars continued to shine brightly in the night sky, the orchard's light served as a reminder of the magic that comes from working together and caring for the world around us. The end. Story 8. The Secret of the Silver Tree. In a tranquil village nestled between misty hills and a shimmering lake, there was a legendary tree known as the Silver Tree. The tree was ancient, with silver leaves that rustled softly in the breeze, creating a melodic, enchanting sound. It stood alone in the heart of a meadow, and it was said to possess a great secret. The villagers revered the silver tree, believing that it held the power to grant wisdom and insight to those who approached it with a sincere heart. However, No one had ever discovered the tree's true secret, for the tree was guarded by a gentle spirit who only revealed its magic to those who proved themselves worthy. In this village lived a curious and kind-hearted young woman named Eliza. She had always been fascinated by the silver tree and had heard many stories about its magical properties. Eliza longed to uncover the tree's secret and hoped to use its wisdom to help her village. One crisp autumn morning, Eliza decided that she would visit the silver tree and seek its guidance. She prepared a small basket with fresh bread and fruit as an offering, hoping to show her respect and sincerity. With a heart full of hope and determination, she set out for the meadow. As Eliza approached the silver tree, she felt a sense of awe and reverence. The tree's silver leaves glistened in the sunlight, and the soft music of the rustling leaves filled the air. She placed her offering at the base of the tree and sat down, closing her eyes and reflecting on her intentions. Moments later, a soft, shimmering light appeared beside the tree. The light gradually took shape, revealing a graceful, ethereal figure, a spirit with flowing robes and a gentle smile. The spirit introduced herself as Seraphina, the guardian of the silver tree. "Welcome, Eliza," Seraphina said in a voice like a soft breeze. "I have sensed your presence and the sincerity of your heart. You seek the secret of the silver tree." Eliza nodded, her eyes filled with determination. "Yes, I do. I want to understand the magic of the tree so that I can use its wisdom to help my village." Seraphina smiled warmly. "The silver tree holds a great secret, but it is not something that can be revealed easily. To uncover its magic, you must first demonstrate your understanding of its true essence." Eliza listened attentively as Seraphina continued. "The secret of the silver tree is not found in grand gestures or powerful spells. It lies in the simple acts of kindness, compassion, and selflessness that we show to others. The tree's wisdom is reflected in the way we live our lives and how we treat those around us." Eliza thought about Seraphina's words and realized that the tree's magic was not about granting wishes or providing miraculous solutions. Instead, it was about embodying the values that the tree represented. To prove her understanding, Seraphina instructed Eliza to spend the next 7 days performing acts of kindness and helping others in her village. Eliza agreed without hesitation, eager to put the spirit's lesson into practice. Over the course of the week, Eliza dedicated herself to making a positive impact on her community. She helped an elderly neighbor with her chores, organized a community gathering to bring people together, and volunteered at the local school to support children in need. She listened to others with empathy, offered support to those who were struggling, and brought comfort to those who were feeling lonely. As each day passed, Eliza noticed that her own heart felt lighter and more fulfilled. The acts of kindness she performed not only improved the lives of those around her, but also brought a sense of joy and contentment to her own life. On the 7th day, Eliza returned to the silver tree, feeling a deep sense of peace and gratitude. She found Seraphina waiting for her, a knowing smile on her face. "You have shown that you understand the true essence of the silver tree's magic," Seraphina said. "The secret of the tree is that its wisdom lies in the simple, everyday actions of kindness and compassion. By embodying these values, you have unlocked the true magic of the silver tree." Eliza felt a warm glow of realization as she listened to Seraphina's words. "Thank you for guiding me. I have learned that the true magic lies in the way we live our lives and how we treat others." Seraphina nodded in approval. "You have discovered the heart of the silver tree's magic. Share this wisdom with others, and let it guide you in all that you do." With that, Seraphina's shimmering light began to fade, and the spirit gently vanished, leaving Eliza alone with the silver tree. As she looked up at the tree's radiant leaves, She felt a deep connection to its timeless wisdom. Eliza returned to her village with a renewed sense of purpose. She continued to live by the values she had learned from the silver tree, inspiring others to do the same. The village flourished as a place of kindness, compassion, and community spirit, and the legacy of the silver tree's magic lived on through Eliza's actions and the example she set for others. The silver tree remained a symbol of the simple yet profound magic of everyday kindness, and its gentle music continued to fill the meadow, a reminder of the enduring power of love and compassion. The end. Story 9. The Whispering Wind. In a tranquil coastal town nestled between steep cliffs and a vast azure sea, there was an old lighthouse that stood tall and proud. The lighthouse had been guiding sailors safely to shore for generations, its light piercing through the foggy nights and stormy weather. However, this lighthouse was not just an ordinary beacon. It was said to be enchanted by the whispering wind, a mystical force that could carry messages and secrets across the land. The keeper of the lighthouse, an elderly woman named Martha, had dedicated her life to maintaining the lighthouse and ensuring its light never faltered. Martha was known for her wisdom and kind heart, and the townspeople often came to her for guidance and advice. One evening, as Martha prepared for the night shift, she heard a soft, melodious whisper carried by the wind. It was a gentle, soothing voice that seemed to speak directly to her heart. Martha had heard the whispering wind before, but tonight the voice was different. It seemed to be filled with urgency and sadness. Curious and concerned, Martha climbed to the top of the lighthouse, where she could better hear the whispering wind. As she stood by the lantern, she closed her eyes and listened carefully. The voice of the whispering wind spoke of a distant land in trouble. A small village, far across the sea, was facing a grave crisis. The village had been struck by a severe drought, and its only source of water, a sacred spring, had run dry. The villagers were in despair, and their once thriving community was withering away. Moved by the story, Martha knew she had to help. She felt a deep sense of responsibility, not only for her own town but for the people across the sea who were suffering. The whispering wind had chosen her to carry out a mission of great importance. Martha began her preparations. She gathered supplies, maps, a compass, and provisions for the journey. With a heart full of determination and a promise to return with help, she set out on a small boat, guided by the light of the lighthouse and the whispers of the wind. The journey was long and arduous, with rough seas and unpredictable weather. But Martha's resolve never wavered. Each time the wind howled and the waves crashed, she would close her eyes and listen to the whispering wind, which continued to guide her with its gentle, reassuring voice. After several days of navigating through stormy waters and braving the elements, Martha finally arrived at the village. The sight that greeted her was one of hardship: cracked, dry fields, withered crops, and worried faces. The villagers gathered around her, their eyes filled with a mix of hope and skepticism. Martha introduced herself and shared the message she had received from the whispering wind. She told the villagers about the drought and their plight, and how she had come to help them. The villagers listened with rapt attention, their hearts touched by the kindness of this stranger who had traveled so far for their sake. With the village's trust, Martha set to work. She explored the area around the dry spring and discovered that the source of the problem was a blockage caused by a recent landslide. The sacred spring had been obstructed by rocks and debris, preventing water from flowing through. Martha organized a group of villagers and led them in clearing the blockage. It was a challenging task, but with teamwork and determination, they managed to remove the debris and restore the flow of water. As the spring began to gush once more, the village erupted in cheers of joy and relief. The once dry fields were soon nourished by the fresh, flowing water, and the crops began to recover. The village's spirit was renewed, and hope returned to their hearts. The villagers were deeply grateful to Martha for her selfless act and the miraculous restoration of their precious water source. Before leaving, Martha was honored with a celebration in her name. The villagers presented her with a beautifully woven tapestry depicting their village and the sacred spring as a token of their appreciation. Martha felt a profound sense of fulfillment and connection with the people she had helped. As she sailed back to her own town, Martha carried with her the gratitude and love of the village. The whispering wind continued to guide her, and she knew that her journey had been one of great significance. She returned to her lighthouse with renewed purpose and a deeper understanding of the power of kindness and compassion. The lighthouse continued to stand as a beacon of hope and guidance, and the whispering wind's whispers carried tales of bravery and generosity across the seas. Martha's story became a cherished part of the town's history, a reminder of the impact one person's kindness can have on the world. And so, the whispering wind continued to weave its gentle messages through the night, guiding those who listened with open hearts and helping those in need with its soft, melodic whispers. The end. Story 10. The Timekeeper's Gift. In a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a serene river, there stood an old clock tower. This clock tower was the pride of the village, known not only for its grandeur, but also for its mysterious history. The clock had been keeping time for centuries, and it was said to possess magical properties that could influence the flow of time itself. The clock tower was maintained by a wise and gentle old man named Elias. Elias was the village's timekeeper, and he was known for his deep knowledge of clocks and his kind, patient demeanor. Every day, Elias would climb to the top of the tower to win the massive clock and ensure that it kept perfect time. One evening, as Elias was working on the clock, he discovered an old, dusty envelope hidden behind a panel in the clock mechanism. The envelope was sealed with a wax emblem that bore the image of a sun and moon intertwined. Curious, Elias carefully opened the envelope and found a letter inside, written in elegant, flowing script. The letter was from a past timekeeper, a man named Alden, who had been Elias's predecessor. Alden's letter spoke of a hidden gift that had been entrusted to the clock tower, a gift that had the power to help the village in times of great need. The letter also contained a riddle that hinted at the location of this gift. Intrigued and eager to uncover the mystery, Elias studied the riddle. It read, "Where time stands still and shadows play, in the heart of the clock, where light finds its way, seek the place where moments blend, and the gift of time you will apprehend." Elias pondered the riddle and realized that it was pointing to a specific part of the clock tower where light and time might intersect. He set out to investigate, carefully examining every corner of the tower. After some searching, Elias found a hidden compartment in the clock's mechanism, just as the riddle had suggested. Inside, he discovered an ornate, golden box adorned with intricate designs. With a sense of reverence, Elias opened the box to reveal a beautifully crafted hourglass. The hourglass was filled with a shimmering golden sand that seemed to sparkle with an inner light. Attached to the hourglass was another note, written in Alden's hand. The note explained that the hourglass had the power to influence time in a way that could bring relief and aid to those in need. However, it could only be used sparingly and wisely, as its power was both profound and delicate. Elias knew that the village had faced many challenges over the years: droughts, floods, and hard winters. He realized that the hourglass could be used to help his fellow villagers, but he also understood the importance of using its power with great care. That very night, a severe storm struck the village. The river that flowed beside the village swelled with rainwater, and the fields were at risk of flooding. The villagers worked tirelessly to protect their homes and crops, but the situation was becoming desperate. Seeing the urgent need, Elias decided it was time to use the hourglass. He gathered the villagers and explained the gift he had found and its purpose. With their understanding and consent, Elias carefully turned the hourglass over and watched as the golden sand began to flow. As the sand moved, a soothing, calming light emanated from the hourglass, spreading across the village. The storm's intensity began to wane, and the river's waters receded. The villagers could hardly believe their eyes as the rain eased and the floodwaters began to subside. With the immediate crisis averted, Elias and the villagers worked together to repair any damage caused by the storm. The village's resilience and unity were strengthened by the experience, and they were grateful for the unexpected gift that had helped them in their time of need. The hourglass was carefully returned to its box and placed back in the hidden compartment of the clock tower. Elias and the villagers understood the importance of preserving its power for future use, and they vowed to honor its legacy by using it only when truly necessary. The story of the timekeeper's gift became a cherished tale in the village, a reminder of the extraordinary help that had come when they needed it most. The clock tower continued to stand tall, its hands marking the passage of time with unwavering precision, and Elias remained a beloved figure, known for his wisdom and the incredible gift he had shared with his community. And so, the village thrived, ever mindful of the delicate balance of time and the magic that lay within their own hands. The hourglass remained a symbol of hope and the power of careful, compassionate action in the face of challenges. The end.